Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. This lecture is about national income and different concepts of national income. So here first of all we will explain the meaning of national income and then we will explain the different concepts of national income. Or in another way we can say that here we are going to derive the disposable personal income from gross national product. Let's start our lecture. As far as the definition of national income is concerned, different economists has defined it differently. He chosen different perspective or different point of view to define the term national income. Here we have taken three different perspective or three different point of view to define the term national income, among which the first method is the production method adopted by Dr. Alfred Marshall. According to production method, Dr. Alfred Marshall has defined the term national income as national income is the monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy during a specific period of time. Equationally, we can write it as y is equals to P1 Q1 plus P2 Q2 plus up to so on Pn Qn, where P represents the price of the commodity, Q represents the quantity of that commodity, and N here represents the number of commodity or the services that are going to produced or performed in an economy during a specific period of time, meaning that by adding the revenues generated by the production of different commodities or services, we can get the national income from production point of view. The next method or the next point of view is taken by Gardner Ackley is the income point of view to define the term national income. He defined the term national income as it is the sum of income of all individuals in an economy. So by adding the income of all individuals in an economy during a specific period of time, we can get the national income from income point of view. But here a problem arises how we can add the income of all individuals in an economy. So he himself resolved this issue by adding the returns of all the factors of production. We can get the national income from income point of view. Equationally, we can write it as y is equals to w. W stands for wages, that is the return of labor, plus capital R stands for rent, that is the return of land, plus small r stands for rate of interest, that is the return of capital, plus pi stands for profit, that is the return of an organization. So by adding the returns of all the factors of production, we can calculate the national income from income point of view. So the next method or the third method to define the term national income is the expenditure point of view taken by Irving Fisher. He defined the term national income as it is the monetary value of all the final goods and services consumed in an economy during a specific period of time. Equationally, we can write it as y is equals to C. C stands for consumption spending plus I. I stands for investment spending plus G stands for government spending plus X represents the exports, M represents imports here, and the last term collectively represents the net exports. That could be positive, negative or zero. So these are the three different point of view taken by different economists to define the term national income. Now we proceed further and explain the different concepts of national income, or we can say that we are going to construct or derive the disposable personal income from gross national product. Concepts of national income. So the first and the largest concept of the national income is the gross national product, and simply we can say that GNP. How we can define the term GNP? We can define it as it is the monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy during a specific period of time. Equationally, we can write it as GNP is equals to C. C stands for consumption spending on goods and services plus IG, where IG represents gross investment, that is the sum of both new investment and replacement of old investment, plus capital G, where capital G represents the government spending plus X minus M, where X represents exports and M represents imports, and collectively the difference between exports and imports is known as net exports. That could be positive, negative or zero. Plus NFP. What does the word NFP means and what does the word NFP stands for? NFP stands for net factor payment from abroad. So here a question arises, how we can calculate the net factor payment from abroad? We can calculate the net factor payment from abroad if we exclude the income paid to foreign factor by the domestic economy from the income paid to domestic factor by the rest of the world. And the net factor payment from abroad, it could be positive, negative or zero. Next concept of the national income is the gross domestic product, and simply we can write it as GDP. How we can define the term GDP? We can define it as it is a monetary value of all the final goods and services produced within the boundary line of the country. Or from the derivation point of view, we can define it as we should exclude the net factor payment from abroad from GNP in order to get GDP. Equationally, we can write it as GDP is equals to GNP minus net factor payment from abroad. In order to get the next equation, we would put the equation of GNP against this GNP and we would get the equation that is written here. Here we can see that net factor payment from abroad is appeared with both positive and negative sign. So this net factor payment from abroad is cancelled out with each other and we get the GDP that is equal to consumption spending plus gross investment plus government spending plus net exports. From measurement point of view, we can divide the term GDP into two different types, that is nominal GDP and real GDP. What does the word nominal and real GDP means? Nominal GDP means that GDP measured in current prices. Equationally, we can write it as Y is equals to summation Pn Qn. Here we can see that both price and quantity are appeared with the same subscript, meaning that the quantity and prices of the current time period are taken. It means that we are going to calculate the nominal GDP. But when we are going to calculate the real GDP, the prices of some base period are taken. It means that when we are going to calculate the GDP in term of base period prices, then it would be accorded as a real GDP. Equationally, we can write it as Y is equals to summation P naught Qn. Here we can see that both price and quantity are appeared with different subscript. Here Qn represents the quantity in the current time period, but P naught here represents the prices of some base period, meaning that we are concerned with to calculate the real GDP. After explaining the terms gross national product and gross domestic product, here we are going to derive the difference between GNP and GDP. So before explaining the difference between GNP and GDP, first we look at these two terms and explore how these two terms are different from one another. As we can see that the word N appear in the middle part of GNP and the word D appear in the middle part of GDP, and these central words made these two terms different from one another. So what does the word N and D means? N means nationals, meaning that nationality of the factors matters very much when we are considering the GNP. We should consider the nationality of the factors while calculating the GNP, as there is an outflow of the income from GNP against the foreign factors serving in the home country, and there is an inflow of the payment in GNP against the domestic factors serving abroad. So we should consider the nationality of the factors while calculating the GNP. But the word D appear in the middle part of GDP representing that domestic. What does the word domestic means? Domestic means GDP is considering that residency of the factors matters very much, not the nationality of the factors, because GDP is considering all the factors of production as the residence of the home country, because all the factors of production are working on the domestic resources, so it would be considered as the residence of the same country. So there is a difference between GNP and GDP. How we can explain this difference? We can explain it as remittances sent home by the worker abroad are part of GNP but not a part of GDP. Here we have explained that both GNP and GDP are different from one another. So now we can derive the relationship between GNP and GDP. In order to derive the GNP, we should add the net factor payment from abroad into GDP in order to get the GNP. By using this formula, there could be three different possibilities, that if net factor payment from abroad is equals to 0, then both GDP and GNP report the same answer. If the net factor payment from abroad becomes positive, then GNP becomes greater than GDP. But when net factor payment from abroad becomes negative, then here GNP falls short of GDP. Next concept of the national income are net national product and net domestic product. So before deriving the net national product and net domestic product, I should clear the one thing here, that all the gross concept of the national income includes depreciation of capital goods in the production process. To make them net, we should deduct or exclude the depreciation cost or depreciation allowances from the gross concept. So what does the word depreciation cost means? Depreciation cost means the portion of capital stock that wear out each year. Now we are going to derive the net national product and net domestic product. In order to derive the net national product or NNP, we should exclude the depreciation allowances from GNP in order to get the NNP. In the same way, we can derive the net domestic product by excluding the depreciation allowances from GDP. We would get net domestic product. Next concept of the national income is the national income. How we can define the term national income? We can see that income received by the household in the form of wages, rent, interest and profit, irrespective of whether they are earned domestically or abroad. Here a question arises, how we can derive the national income? So in order to derive the national income, we should subtract the indirect taxes and add the subsidies into net national product. So what does the word indirect taxes and subsidy means? Indirect taxes means it is a type of tax where the initial and final tax burden is on the different persons, meaning that it is the type of tax where the tax burden could be shifted to another persons. How we can define the term subsidy? We can see that subsidy is the type of government expenses that are extended to farmers to reduce the cost of production or to reduce the prices for consumer. In another way, we can say that subsidy is the type of negative tax because they impose expense on government budget instead of generating revenues. Equationally, we can write it as, in order to derive the national income, we should subtract the indirect taxes and add the subsidies into net national product in order to get the net national income. Next concept of the national income is the personal income. So here a question arises, how we can derive the personal income. So in order to derive the personal income, we should subtract the undistributed corporate profit, corporate and social security taxes and add transfer payment into national income. Equationally, we can write it as personal income is equals to national income minus undistributed corporate profit minus corporate tax minus social security distribution plus transfer payments. Now we will explain all these terms one by one. So what does the word undistributed corporate profit means? Undistributed corporate profit means it is the type of profit that is not distributed among the shareholders in the joint stock companies. So what does the word corporate tax means? It is the type of tax that is imposed on income or profit of the corporation. How we can define the term transfer payments? We can define it as it is the type of income received by an individual for which no economic activity is being performed. Next concept of the national income is the disposable personal income. First, going to explain the derivation of disposable personal income, we would explain here that the personal income that we have derived in the previous slide is not available for spending because it includes the direct taxes or the personal taxes that should be excluded to make the income available for spending. So here a question arises how we can derive the disposable personal income from personal income. So in order to derive the disposable personal income, we should deduct or exclude the direct taxes from the personal income. Equationally, we can write it as disposable personal income is equal to personal income minus direct taxes. Here a question arises how we can define the term direct taxes. So the direct taxes are the type of taxes where the initial and final tax burden is on the same person, meaning that it is the type of tax where the tax burden could not shift to another person. So disposable personal income is the type of income that is now available for spending, and a household or an individual can divide it into consumption and savings. Here we are going to explain the GDP gap. As GDP gap is the difference between potential GDP and actual GDP. So first of all, we will explain the meaning of potential and actual GDP. So what does the word potential GDP means? It means monetary value of all the final goods and services that an economy can produce by utilizing the all existing resources of an economy. How we can define the term actual GDP? We can say that it is the monetary value of all the final goods and services that an economy actually produced by utilizing the existing resources of an economy. After defining the term potential and actual GDP, we would explain how the GDP gap could become positive, negative, or zero. GDP gap could be zero when potential and actual GDP becomes equal to each other. GDP gap is positive when potential GDP is greater than actual GDP. And when GDP gap becomes negative, GDP gap becomes negative when potential GDP falls short of actual GDP. In the last of this lecture, we are going to explain the meaning of per capita income and the derivation of per capita income. So what does the word per capita means? Per capita income means it is the per head income or per person income. How we can derive the per capita income or the per head income? In order to derive the per capita income, we should divide the national income of the economy by the total population of an economy. By doing so, we can calculate the per head income or the per person income of an economy.